Lydia and Ethan.
In our last episode, we told you guys all about our adoption story.
In this week's episode, we want to tell you how you can pursue a domestic infant adoption.
He's hungry.
He's hungry.
Can you give him kisses on the head? Oh, that was so sweet.
But before we get started, let's give you a little bit more color of who we are.
Last year, at the start of 2021, we moved our 4 kids out of a subdivision and onto a 20-acre apple orchard. Our family, we love adventure.
Don't do this at home, kids.
So, whether that is traveling, creating something beautiful, or getting our hands dirty,
My precious.
you never know what you're gonna get with us. So, go ahead and lean in. We don't want you to miss a thing. Hi, we're Ethan and Lydia, and we are looking forward to expanding our family through adoption. Thank you so much for taking your time to get to know us some. We have 3 children, 2 boys and 1 girl, and we live in a 5-bedroom home in a family-friendly subdivision in Michigan.
Yeah, we're both super involved in our community. We get to pour our lives out into our church community and the people in our community because we're both pastors. So my wife is the worship pastor at our church, and I am the teaching pastor at our church. I get to work full-time from home as a physician recruiter. So my Monday through Friday, I get to work from home and see our kids and come downstairs and be with our kids all the time, and it's awesome. And then Lydia works part-time at our church, and so we both get to be home with the kids more than most parents, and it's an awesome privilege, and we love it, and our kids love it. It's awesome. Our kids are super awesome. They're all super excited to be able to get a little brother or little sister that they can play with and love on.
Yeah, we've got Grayson. He's almost 5, and he is so sweet, so smart. He loves all things mechanical, and he is such a good big brother to his 2 siblings that he has right now.
Yes, he's awesome, super gentle. And then we have Scarlett. She is just the most rambunctious little girl. She's super fun. She loves furiously. Like, she just hugs everybody, calls everybody. She says everybody's her friend. She's awesome. She's just super cool.
Yeah, then there's Knightley, and he is going to be turning 2 soon, and he is so sweet, always laughing. He's just the most laid-back, chill baby, and we really enjoy him. He loves to just play with his siblings and run around and dance and
eat.
And eat, yes, he loves to eat a lot.
He loves eating.
That's cute. That was
Let's go. Nom, nom, nom.
That was cute.
Nom, nom, nom.
Adoption has always been something that we have wanted to do. Even before we had biological children, we knew that we would want to have some of our own biological children and also grow our family through adoption. So we really look forward to this adventure that we're on now. If you'd like to get to know us more, you can contact Bethany Christian Services.
Yay.
Oh gosh, I think the number one question that I get asked online throughout my social media is always, how did you adopt? How did you go about adoption? Can you tell me all the details about adoption? And
Was it foster or was it through an agency?
and what are, they have all these questions. And the number one thing that I've always said to people is go to an adoption orientation and all of those questions in your brain will be answered. All of them. Much better than I could, but we're going to talk to you about it a little bit today.
I was personally very hesitant about the adoption process because I was so scared about, us getting heartbroken and our kids being heartbroken because we already have 3 of our own that we biologically had. And so we were really concerned about bringing in a baby and then the mom changing her mind and then us losing that baby and leaving our kids extremely confused. So super nervous, everything like that. And then Lydia says, hey, there's an adoption agency in Detroit that I've heard of that has a great reputation. Let's go to an orientation. And so I was very like, okay.
I was like, there'll be free pizza.
And I was like, yeah, I'm in. And it's weird because we wanted to adopt, and I did want to adopt. I was way more on the caution side than she was.
I'm never on the caution side.
No, she's like, send it.
You guys silly? I'm still gonna send it.
So we go to this adoption agency and we go to an orientation, and it was the most sobering event ever, but it was super informative.
Yeah, I feel like we hardly talked on the way home. It's like a 2-hour orientation, and they just lay it out for you, what to expect, what adoption used to be like, where it was really private and kind of shameful, so they had everything closed, to now it's really open, and that scared us because when we walked into adoption, we're like, absolutely closed, no way. And
no contact with the birth parents, 0.
And then we really were informed and realized, oh my goodness, this is not just a ministry to a child, this is a ministry to the birth mom. There's more people involved in this than just you. It's not about you.
Yeah, so we basically started with how do you adopt? We basically chose, we had heard about you can foster or you can go through an agency. And we decided what was best for our family and for our kids was to do it through an agency and do the domestic infant adoption because for us, we didn't want our kids to deal with heartbreak of losing friends, like kids coming in and leaving, kids coming in and leaving, and them being very confused.
Yes. Also, the demand on foster parents is a bit higher and more time consuming when it comes to visitations and court dates. And both of us worked at the time, and we just knew, both of us working with 3 other children, we won't be able to handle this.
Yeah,
so,
and in the state of Michigan, fostering's goal is always to reunite those kids back with the parents. You know what I mean? So, or with family members. And so we felt kind of uneasy about that. We love fostering, so I don't want anybody to be confused about that. You should foster. Fostering is incredible, and I think people who do foster with the right hearts are the most amazing people in my mind in the entire world.
Yeah, for our phase of life, with our children being so small and not being able to understand why kids would be coming and going, we just felt like at this phase of life, this isn't something that we feel called to.
Yes. So who do we choose for adoption agency?
Bethany Christian Services.
Bethany Christian Services.
They're amazing. I would recommend them. 10 out of 10. Incredible social workers, incredible company. They're just wonderful people. They really are.
Yeah.
So,
I loved the whole process. It was really amazing. Our social worker, we couldn't have asked for a better person.
Yeah.
She was so kind, very transparent, explained the process very easily. So we went through Bethany Christian Services. After we had went to that orientation, we did decide, okay, we do want to do it through Bethany Christian Services.
So we went ahead and we did a formal application, and we waited for our social worker to be assigned.
Yep.
That was Meryl. And then when you get a social worker assigned, you are then going through your home study process. So there's a whole lot of things that they have you gather and do, a lot of forms, medical checks to make sure you're healthy. They come and check out your house. Ethan really struggled with the medical part because he does not like needles, and he had to.
I had to get a blood draw, and I had to get a couple different vaccinations. They do that because they want to make sure that you're healthy. So they take your blood and do different tests and stuff like that because they want to make sure you're not just going to die after you adopt a kid. I hate that stuff. So that was honestly the hardest part for me because I didn't have to do that.
He was a baby about it. He was such a baby about it. But generally, your home study can take anywhere from 3 to 6 months. I think ours took 3 months from when we had our social worker assigned to us. So our home study got approved July 4th. Of 2019.
And the home study basically includes they walk through your whole entire house. They check to make sure that your house is safe. You have to have fire extinguishers. You have to have carbon monoxide testing stuff.
Yeah.
You have to have smoke detectors. You have to have
your chemicals put away.
Yeah, it is very thorough, and they check everything. They it's intense. And even after ours, she gave us a different list of things we needed. We needed to buy a couple fire extinguishers. We had to buy some carbon monoxide testing and stuff like that. And so it was really intense, but once it's done, which was great.
And it's stuff that you really probably should have in your home already. So
Yeah,
it's good. And then once you're done with that, you're going to go through fingerprinting, background checks, all those 9 yards. And then hopefully your home study will be approved. Ours was approved on July 4th. And what happens from there as far as going through a domestic infant adoption through an agency is all of this is mom-led. So the birth mom receives profiles of adoptive parents. You basically create a Shutterfly scrapbook looking book all about you and you two and your family and everything that you would want a birth mom to know about who you are. You also create a virtual one online, and these birth mothers are given the profiles, and they get to scroll through and kind of figure out like who would be the best fit for my child. Who do I feel like my child would do well with in a home with? And she can decide, do I want to meet them? Do I want to interview them? Do I want to... It's all up to the birth mom, which is really a beautiful thing. It should be the birth mom's decision. And we really appreciated that about Bethany Christian Services, that they had such a ministry and a love and respect for the birth mothers.
And it's really awesome too, because you don't feel like you're waiting in a line at the end of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Like usually you would think, well, I have to wait until all these other people have adopted. They're very just like, here's all the parents. Here's the ones that probably fit what you're looking for the most. And then they give them those books and videos and stuff like that. And basically we waited about half the amount of time that we thought we were going to wait, which was awesome.
And the reason why we waited so short is because on the adoptive parent side, you will be given the opportunity to make the contingencies of what you want. Let's say, you have 8 boys and you really want a girl finally. You can put a contingency for, I only want a girl child. There's a lot of contingencies that you can place. Many of them we would never put down or agree with, because we feel like all children are worth taking. Mm-hmm. And
there were just certain ones that like we wouldn't be able to handle with all of our other kids if somebody had a severe disability. Mm-hmm. We were okay with certain minor disabilities like blindness or deafness and stuff like that.
Or not having an arm or a leg or things like that. But we knew with very high disabilities that we may not be able to caretake the best. Yeah. So, there's certain things on there that you can put down and you won't be judged for the reasonings that you are picking or anything like that. But I will say they did tell us if you put down a unicorn baby, you're going to be waiting a really long time, or you may never see that, because there is no child out there that is going to fit your perfect description, because you don't, just like when you have a baby, you don't get to decide what eye color they have.
Yeah, a unicorn baby is the birth mom has all the medical history. She's gone to every prenatal doctor visit. They have no disabilities. The birth mom didn't drink or do drugs. They're
the exact race that you wanted. They're the exact gender that you wanted. It is like, it's not realistic. It's just not realistic. And so there are people, I remember our social worker told us, there are people that have waited 5 years. They're okay with waiting that long. They've waited longer because they're just waiting for that perfect situation. It's not just about a perfect baby. It's about a perfect situation. The mom wants the exact kind of either openness, closed, or semi-open plan that they want. She has all the medical history. She, all the things. And that was not something that we had a high value for.
Yeah, and we advise you that if you are trying to adopt, try to be flexible to a point of what you can handle.
Yeah.
Because we had to be flexible. We had some cases, some different situations where they asked us if we wanted to present our book to different birth moms with different scenarios, and there were some that just didn't make sense.
Yeah.
Like there was one where a birth mom was incarcerated, and when she got out, she wanted to see the baby every 2 weeks. And for us, that didn't work. It was like, we can't drive to you every 2 weeks with all of our kids where you're located it was just it was just one of those things where we were like, that's just not going to
Yeah,
work
there's
for our
certain
lifestyle, you know?
Yeah. So that brings us to this. When a birth mother is given profiles, she is only given the profiles that fit within the contingencies of the adoptive parents. So let's say if you only wanted a girl and a birth mother had a boy, your profile would not be presented to that birth mother. So the birth mother is being set up for success, that if she picks a parent from that plan, she won't immediately get rejected and told, no, I don't want to walk through that.
Yep.
So our profile got presented 12 times, 12 times, and we were never picked until the 13th time.
Yeah, which every single
For
time we
Revy.
weren't picked, Lydia was like distraught.
I was devastated.
She cried a lot, and just being honest,
I did cry.
She cried a lot, and there was a lot of like, why do people not like us? Why are they not picking us? We're a good family, and I just kept on reminding her that like every single time there's a no, we're that much closer to the yes, and that yes is going to be the perfect child for us. And it was. Every time it was a no, I just, in my head, I didn't know we were going to get Revere, and I didn't know what was coming, but I could see the shadow of who Revere was, and that Revere was on his way. And so every no just means you're that much closer to the yes.
Yes, for sure. And so we actually had a very short wait as well compared to most people. So usually once your home study gets approved, you've got anywhere from an 18-month to a 24-month wait generally. We did not. Our home study got approved in July, and Revere came along in February.
Yeah.
So it was very quick. It was not a long wait for us. It felt very intense throughout it because you're seeing all these profiles of other children. Now, when you do see a profile, it's very vague. You have no picture of the child. You get to know, basically you're given a mom B has a boy child, this is the race, this is how much medical information we have.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Mom did maybe these drugs, drank this much.
Had no prenatal care or all
Yeah.
prenatal care.
And some
Gave
of
birth
them,
at 29 weeks. Baby's expected to be in the hospital for another 8, or, all of those details that you get. And
yeah, some were very detailed, and then others were literally like, Mom did drugs, we don't know what drugs she did.
Yes.
And it was like, okay.
Yeah, the very first profile that we got sent to us was a baby that was born at 28 weeks. And that was only like a couple weeks after our home study got approved. It was in August. And we were just like, ooh, we could be living at the hospital for like weeks on end. And we actually did say yes to the baby, and we didn't get picked. And then we just had, over time, we had peace of like, oh, okay, like, that's okay. Like, even though we said yes and we were willing to take this baby, like, it wasn't what God had for us, and the mom picked who was the right person. So
Yep. So then basically our profile got picked. The social worker called us. If you want the full story, you can go to our other video where we explain our
Yes.
adoption story. So once you get picked, then basically the child is now in your custody. And the greatest part about working with an agency is you don't have to handle finding a lawyer for the court stuff. They do like everything for
yeah,
you. So
they are the buffer between you and the birth parents. It's just, it's a
clean.
cleaner process. There's not the drama. It's just,
it's expensive, but it's clean. And
Yes.
so the other great thing with Bethany, before I continue moving on about them handling the process, is that they also help you get some grants and stuff like that to cover some of the costs. If you're within certain income brackets, there's a bunch of different grants you can apply for and get. We didn't end up applying for any certain grants because our income level was above what the typical
Right.
one was. And we also just felt like we didn't want to tap into whatever kind of pool that was because we didn't feel like we needed it.
yes.
So
What you can do, though, for every adoption out there in the United States is there is an adoption credit that you can file with your taxes the following year of your adoption. And so right now for the 2021 adoption credit is $14,400 that you can apply to your taxes. And so that is very helpful when it comes to the adoption expensive. Yes, you have to have the money up front, but there's also adoption loans. There's a lot of things you can do. And I think So many people say they don't want to adopt because it's just too expensive, but yet they own a brand new vehicle that they have a lease for or a loan for in their driveway. And I just feel so much in me the conviction that if you can afford a brand new car and getting a loan for a car with a high interest rate, you can get an adoption loan and you can adopt, because it's just, it's that real. Like that's the reality of it.
And in 5 years, that car is going to be somewhere else a kid will not be.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we feel really strongly about that. The reason why we're making this video is because we want to promote not ourselves and our adoption, but to promote adoption and make it just help you guys understand it. Also help you guys feel encouraged to do it, because it really is an awesome, awesome thing. Moving on to, so Bethany they handled everything for us. So when we got Revere, they handled scheduling the court date stuff, getting all the legal documents to us to be signed. They sent all of that in. It was during COVID, so literally they sent us paperwork. We signed it all. They mailed it to the court, and then the judge signed off on it, everything. We didn't even need to go into the court for anything. So it was really, really easy, and it felt very, very safe. And it also didn't leave us wondering if we may have missed anything along the way. That was really important for me to feel like there's not going to be something I missed, and then maybe somehow this baby could be taken away from us.
Yeah, so what they'll do is once you receive a placement and you have a baby, you will have post-placement visits, and basically once a month for the next, till this baby is signed off on completely and they're yours, you will have a post-placement visit with your social worker. For us, because it was in COVID, it was over Zoom. Generally they come to you, but it was just a different kind of time. So the great thing about going through an agency as well is that you have lifetime advocates for you. So even now, if we had a question or we needed help or just didn't know how to handle something, maybe with the birth mom or whatever, we could contact Bethany and they would be a great resource for us and a tool for us, and they would help us out with it. They still have classes that you can do even after you've adopted, years after you've adopted, you can do their classes, and they're just really great. So going through an agency, you're really kind of getting what you pay for when it comes to going through them.
You're getting... When you go through Bethany, you're getting a resource and a advocate basically the rest of your life. You're getting somebody who can help you with whatever you need. And otherwise, you're kind of on your own.
Yep.
And for us, that was really nice to know. So what we love about Bethany, too, is that they not only do adoptions in the United States, they do adoptions internationally. So if you're really passionate about international adoption, then they can help with that as well. We adopted within our own state, which was perfect. But it's amazing. It's a really, really great company, and with really, really great people, and their core values are really awesome.
Yeah.
They live and die by Christian values. They really treat everybody with such great honor, and they also do a really good job at taking care of birth moms later on. So birth moms have free counseling the rest of their life. They have different things where they can assist them with getting to medical treatment and stuff like that. It's just amazing. We really, really love Bethany.
Yep. So if you are wanting to go into exploring a domestic infant adoption any further, I would really encourage you to find an agency that you like. Of course, we're saying Bethany is the one to choose, but there's the perfect agency out there for you if you decide to take that route. And the best thing for you to do would be to go to an orientation class. It is worth your time to go and do. There is no commitment with it. You are just going and observing and being a part of it. And if you'd like to apply further from there, then you can do that. But, just Googling things or watching more videos like this won't be your next step. Your next step is getting into an orientation.
Okay, come here, Revy. Come here, Revy.
Come here.
Let's go, dude.
Hi.
This is Revere. Awesome, guys. So we know that we basically just fire hosed you with a ton of information about adopting and the agency process and everything like that. If you have any questions at all, comment below at all. If you have questions about our story or you have questions about what your process might look like, we want to help in any way we can. We want to be a resource to you. We are making awesome videos all the time, both about adoption, recording music, our family vlog, adventures we're doing in the orchard. So we don't just do this. So make sure you subscribe because we've got awesome videos coming out all the time.
Yeah, we'd love to hear about, your experience with adoption if you've already adopted. And I'm sure a lot of the people that are watching that are
wanting to adopt, would love to see your comments as well. So if you've adopted, please go ahead and comment below. Tell us some things that maybe we didn't say that you think would be valuable for viewers to be able to hear. That would be really great as well.
Okay.
All right.
You say bye-bye?
You say bye-bye.
Say bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Good job.